Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time, thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Hello, it's not Steve, it's Becky Brown. I am so glad that you joined us today. Today is Veterans Day, and I am joined by Chris Williams and Dr. Alice Benton, and I'm so glad you're there. You know, one of the things that I do want to celebrate on Veterans Day are all of Americans, veterans that have served, are serving our country, and their commitment to our freedom. And we just are so grateful, and we want to lift our prayers. And if you know a veteran or you see one today, say thank you, maybe buy them lunch or something, you know, just to celebrate their commitment to the work of freedom. And we're just so grateful to celebrate that today.
And you folks lay down your life for us in the work you're willing to do. And words can't express the debt that we owe you and our gratitude. We're praying for you. Thank you so much.
We love it. All right, we're going to go right to the calls. We have a bunch lined up today, and we're so excited that we are able to help people. And we're going to start with Chris, who's calling us from Jacksonville, Florida, listens on WEGS. Hi, Chris. Thanks for calling. How can we help you today? Chris, are you there? Maybe. Okay, well, we're going to put Chris on hold. Maybe we'll join that person. We're going to go to Ann, who's calling from St. Augustine, Florida. Listens on WAYL. Hi, Ann. How are you today, and how can we help you?
Yes, I was wondering, what do you do when people make fun of you? How do you handle that situation?
How do you experience that situation, Ann?
Well, I go out somewhere, and people are just, it's always like they're laughing or they're smiling or they just seem like they're talking about me or something. I don't know.
That's really helpful. So, Ann, inside of you is a core belief about yourself. It's actually, and Ann, hold on. Do you have a radio on in the background?
No.
Oh, there. Yeah.
No, not now. I got away from it. Okay.
Oh, no problem. No problem.
Go
There's
ahead.
some background. So, Ann, when we see other people and we see them laughing or talking and we assume it's about us, it's actually not something that they're doing. It's something that we are doing. And this may sound kind of confusing, but it means that I'm holding a message inside of myself. Like, for instance, let me give you an example. If I believe that I am foolish or ridiculous, and by the way, that probably is a message that was put on me by somebody early in my life. That was a pain point and a fear. And so I'm out in public and I believe that I'm foolish, or I fear that I'm foolish, and I see that other people are laughing at me. I'm assuming they're laughing because I'm being foolish. But they could be laughing for a bazillion different reasons that have nothing to do with me.
Right.
So what happens is then we need to then go into ourselves and our own internal experience, our own internal messaging and voices, and figure out what's going on. What are we telling ourselves about ourselves?
So, Ann, think about that one person in your life, and it probably was more than one, but who was one person who directly treated you like you were laughable?
You can hear the music, Ann. We're going to come back after the break, so be thinking about that. We're so glad that you called today, and we're thankful for the others that are hanging on, and we're going to answer those calls in just a minute. Thankful for our YouTube family that watches every day, and I want to say hello to you. And if you're watching and you haven't subscribed on YouTube, please go ahead and do that, and maybe share the show with somebody that could be encouraged or would find something helpful. I'm sure you know someone that you can share that with. But in the meantime, we just want to say thanks for joining us there, and look forward to seeing you call us someday. We're going to be right back.
My husband's been addicted to porn since he was 10 years old.
I found out about 9 months into my marriage that he has a porn addiction.
My name is Shelly Martinkus, and I want to personally invite you to the Restore Workshop. If you have been affected by betrayal, it might be that your husband has been looking at pornography, it might be an emotional, physical affair. I would love for you to come join us.
Restore has empowered me and has given me the tools to work through my anger, work through my pain, work through my confusion, and help me realize that I am worthy.
Being here and being surrounded by people who get it has given me my power back.
Please don't hesitate. Pick up the phone, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. I would love to see you there.
The Restore Workshop is coming to Washington, D.C., November 12th through the 14th. To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go online to newlife.com.
Thank you, Restore. You have changed my life forever.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Hi, we're back. I was just saying one of my favorite sayings is, what people think of you is none of your business. And what I mean by that is sometimes we project what other people are thinking about us, and we have no idea what they're thinking about us. But Alice, you asked a great question of Ann before we went to the break. And Ann, I don't know if you had an opportunity to kind of reflect on what Alice had asked you.
I really can't think of anybody right now.
There have been people in your life, Ann, who hurt you or mistreated you.
Oh, yeah.
And who is that?
Yeah. Like friends that I thought were friends, or my own family, different people.
You have been betrayed, haven't you, by people you loved and trusted and thought that they cared for you.
Right, exactly.
So that pain is with you when you face other people's behavior. And you do something we all naturally do, Anne. We look for evidence that confirms what we already believe about ourselves. And we are very good at finding that evidence all over the place. We're not very good at finding evidence to the contrary. And so you have your work cut out for you if you want freedom from this sense that everybody's laughing at you. And it will involve telling the stories of the hurt you've experienced. It will involve working towards forgiveness, even if the people that hurt you have never repented and are not worthy of your forgiveness. But it is that process that allows us to unhook from the mistreatment that we have suffered. It also helps us build up more confidence in our identity and how valuable we truly are. I want to hear from you one thing you know about yourself that's just fantastic about Anne. What is it?
That I love people.
Anne, that is the most important characteristic anybody can have, because it's God's first two greatest commandments, to love God and to love other people. But because you've been hurt, I would wonder if you've pulled back from people. And so the world might be missing out on that fantastic gift that you have because the hurt holds you back. What have you done to get treatment for that hurt?
I haven't. I'm working on getting some treatment though soon.
Good.
Getting some people to talk to and go to the church and get some help.
That's good. Because Alice mentioned the greatest commandment. There's just one small but important piece missing. When it says to love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength, and then love others or love your neighbors as yourself. And I'm just wondering, as you are a loving person in the world, which is, again, such a superpower, do you believe that you yourself are lovable? Is there the as yourself component?
Yes, I do.
Absolutely. Okay, then in that becoming your organizing principle, when you see people laughing or you having fun or joking around, like it's sort of like, oh, they're experiencing joy. It becomes the assumption. my primary assumption, I call it an organizing principle. Oh, is that actually I'm good and people are good. We all have sin. People could be making fun of me, but that's a them problem, not a me problem, because I'm primarily lovable, even though I still struggle with definite sins or problems in my life. And so I feel that as we cultivate that as yourself part, we just can walk around in the world a little bit more secure on more firm, solid grounding, especially in our relationships.
So one of the things that you guys are talking about, though, is, Anne, you have this awareness that you are loving and you love people. However, it's not manifesting in your daily life if your biggest challenge is that you feel like people are making fun of you. So there's a disconnect there. And so one of the things, like you just said, Chris, is that you can say when you see somebody laughing, you can assume they're happy. They're happy about something. Now, if somebody's making fun of you, it usually would be a more direct attack. And there are people, we have, difficult people in our lives from time to time. And that may be the case, but I don't hear that for you, Anne. And so the challenge will be to get in good community, to get, some of that counseling that you're talking about, but also to experience yourself as how you have described yourself to us in your everyday life. Alice, you were going to say something?
Well, I want you to know, Anne, that I've had the same thought. Are they laughing at me? And I check my shoes to see if I've got toilet paper stuck to them again, because I've done it before. And then I remind myself, nobody's thinking about me as much as I'm thinking about myself. It probably has nothing to do with me. But I then take my hurt to my girls, to my husband, and I ask for soothing and I ask for cheerleading. And it builds me back up to be able to go back out into a world that can be tough and very cruel at times.
That's great. And we're going to send you a copy of Take Back Your Life, or Take Your Life Back, and hope that you will get connected. We can get you connected with a counselor in your area. We're going to go ahead and we're going to talk to Steve, who's calling us from Tucson, Arizona, listens on Sirius XM. Hi, Steve. Thanks for calling. How can we help you today?
Hi. In 2010, I got married to an absolutely wonderful woman, and a year and a half after we were married, she had a horrific stroke that left her unable to talk and unable to walk, and her right side was paralyzed. So for the last 12 years, I've been her caregiver, taking care of her, doing everything for her. And she just passed away last August. And then and these 90 days later after she passed away, my dad passed away from COVID. And I'm finding myself revisiting things, her smell and other things, and I'm going through this where I'm getting aroused from that and pleasure in myself, and then there's a ton of guilt that comes with that. And my question is, am I wrong having these feelings about her? And if I am, how do I stop?
Wow, Steve, we're so sorry for your loss and this complicated grief. Chris, do you want to start?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just go out on a limb here, and my initial answer is no. You were deeply attached to her. You lost her when she passed away, obviously, but you lost a lot after she had the stroke. And then you lost your dad. So Steve, you're dealing with a lot of grief and loss in your life, and it hits us in our senses. Our triggers do. Our loss triggers, our grief triggers. And so the olfactory, which is our sense of smell, is the strongest sensory tied to memory. And that's why when we're walking through the perfume aisle at the department store and we catch that whiff, and immediately we think of grandma and we can't think of anything else. Well, it's because that sense is tying us to our history and our story. And it makes sense that you loved your wife, you cared for her deeply, you did what you could, and that there is a desire to attach and connect with that. But where I would caution this is that in sexualizing that, which again makes perfect sense, she's your wife, for goodness sakes, What I want you to be able to do is be able to find yourself in community with other people where you can take your losses to. You can take your hurts and your fears and some of the guilty feelings that you're experiencing and say, hey, guys, here's what's going on. And here's what I don't know what to do with. And because if I can just say it like this, grief is weird. Like it shows up in weird ways, oftentimes as an uninvited guest. And the best way for us to continue to move through it, again, is in connection with safe community.
And we get into risky ground when we turn towards sexual pleasure as our main and perhaps sole means of comfort. Because God designed us to receive the best comfort in relationship. And sexual pleasure is part of his beautiful design as well. But it can't be the sole means of receiving comfort.
You know, there's a significance in 90 days in grief recovery. Many times after you've had a devastating loss, people will want to have you go into counseling or, you know, some sort of grief process. But your body is in your brain is almost, it's like shock. And so it's significant that then your father dies. And now you've got this complex grief that's occurring. And she was a constant in your life for the last 12 years. Even though it was in an impaired way, Steve, your care for her, you were closer probably than a lot of couples who went to work every day and, you know, passed in the hallway kind of thing. So it makes sense. But it really is important for you to begin this grief process where you're connected with people, that you are able to express what your needs are. And I'm wondering, do you guys have a good community around you, or have you been pretty isolated since you've been her primary caregiver?
I have my church, and I went through some grief counseling at the VA hospital and stuff, but it's even through all of that, and you know, and it's been a year, those feelings are still there, you know, and and it just keeps coming back to me, you know, when Jesus said, you know, you need to love your wife like I love the church. I never thought that while she was there that I had that love for her, but now that she's gone, I understand what he meant.
Yeah.
I never knew I could love someone like I loved her.
Oh.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
and
go ahead, Chris.
Steve, 1 year is still a really short amount of time.
It is.
You know, a lot. And grief has its own timeline. To be really honest, that's unique to each of us. But again, when you're describing the level and depth of connection and love that you guys shared with each other, and especially you for her, again, this is a short amount of time. And again, what I want to encourage you with is seek out a Bible study of men, and in that, see if they will go into the deeper parts of life. And this is for all, especially the guys listening out there. And we've got to learn how to keep getting more and more honest and transparent with each other on the stuff that's going on the inside. Instead of keeping our Bible studies in this head space, we've got to really descend it into a heart space. But Steve, I want you to seek out, and I know they're out there, in your community of guys that you can walk intimately with you through this process.
And check your guilt, because you were an imperfect husband to her, and you may naturally be having regrets about all that you did not do. And that guilt is relieved by telling those stories, by confessing to this group of men that Chris is talking about.
Steve, we're going to send you a copy. It's the Life Recovery Workbook on Grief. And actually, I think it would be a great kind of stepping off point if you have a couple of men that you're close with in your church, or, you know, you had talked about that community. That would be a great way to get started. And, you know, it is a process, and grief is messy, and it doesn't make sense all along the way. And you certainly have had a lot to deal with. We'll be praying for you, Steve, and we're so glad you called, and I hope that that's been helpful. We're going to go to Tom. He's calling us from Orlando, Florida, listens online. How can we help you today, Tom?
Yeah, thanks for taking my call.
Of course.
I just had an issue come up from my past, I guess. There was some sexual abuse. I experienced some, and then I was also the cause of some later on in life as a teenager to a younger cousin of mine, and it just kind of, after 25 years, it came to light, and I talked to my cousin about it. We talked about it, and
Okay, Tom, hold that thought. We're going to go to a break. We're glad you called. That's pretty significant, and I know that it's got to be disturbing for you. And but we'll talk after this break. I want to give you some time, and we'll hear from Chris and Alice as well.
It had become very apparent that some of the things I was involved with were taking over my life.
In today's world, men are barraged with inappropriate content and images all day, every day. Some say that certain behaviors are just no big deal. It's just part of being a guy. But it's simply not true. It's a battleground for every man, and the opportunities to fail are everywhere. New Life's Every Man's Battle workshop can help.
After 7 years, just one weekend, a completely changed man.
For over 20 years, New Life Ministries has been helping men regain their integrity and purity through their one-of-a-kind Every Man's Battle workshop.
He said, I think this is something that every man should go to. Married, dating, it was definitely life-changing.
Now the workshop is coming to Dallas December 3rd through the 5th. Don't wait for him to call. To find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go to newlife.com. 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
You guys are awesome. You're a blessing to America.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, please call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back. We are talking to Tom, who got some pretty disturbing conversations going with his cousin. But Tom, tell us more about what you're dealing with.
So, like I said, I had some conversations with my cousin that were, upsetting to both of us, and then those kind of stopped. She didn't reach out to me anymore, and I didn't feel that I should reach out to her. And I spoke to my aunt, her mom, about it, and I felt like we had a good talk, although she's not reached out to me, hasn't responded to a couple of texts. And I guess my question is, I've been a Christian since not too long after this took place, 25 years ago, and my cousin and my aunt, I don't believe they are, and I don't know. Of course, I pray about it constantly. I don't know the best path to reconciliation or to or if I should even reach out to one or both of them or not.
And Tom, with those previous conversations you had, who initiated them?
Well, my cousin reached out to me initially.
And did she bring up the sexual abuse in the past from you? She started that conversation?
Yeah, that was why she called, because, it since it had happened, there had never been anything spoken about it.
And how did you respond How did you respond to her when she brought it up?
I was extremely broken. We were both in tears. I wanted to help. I asked how I could help.
What was her response?
What was hers?
Yes.
Well, not much other than just, communicating. She communicated that, she wanted me to research how this affects, girls that have experienced something like this, the trauma and the hurt that she's been through.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how, she went.
Yeah. So Tom, let me
20 years, 25 years.
Tom, let me jump in here, okay? Because I really, this is super, super important. The first thing I want you to do is I want you to get into a counselor, a therapist who specializes in sexual abuse. And I want you to first start with yourself. Mm-hmm. You first need to understand what happened to you and how did it impact you and how did it shape you and what did it teach you about yourself and other people and what did it teach you about sex? Because I think that is the irony here is that's the best thing that you can do for your cousin who was your victim is to first understand how you were victimized in this situation. And that will be your best, that I guarantee you this, that will be your best research. Okay. And there may not be an opportunity to reconcile with her in the future, but you will have a much, much deeper understanding for yourself. Now, one of the fears is that, hey, if this happened to me, then it's an excuse to happen to other people. We know that once we do the research and we understand how we've been impacted, that's not the case. It's not an excuse. But these things tend to roll out, especially, and it gets complicated. I don't have time on the radio, but to explain this, but in what we call relational power dynamics and how those things get sexualized. But your job is to work on your healing right now and what happened to you first. There's a secondary healing, which is also actually not really secondary, it's also primary, and that is what you did. You need healing from what you did as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One of the things too, Tom, is that reconciliation may not be your goal. That may not be the goal. I don't know if she's asking for it, but I think healing is the goal. Mm-hmm. Healing for you, then healing for her, like whatever her process is, that's her process. But it was pretty brave for her to call you. Mm-hmm. I know that it probably took, your feet out from under you when you got that call. But it was a brave call for her to do that. And I know that then it triggered a lot of stuff from your own experience. Mm-hmm. And so there's a lot of healing that needs to happen here. And I agree totally with you, Chris, that, that's the process forward.
And a really good trauma therapist will help guide you in that relational process when the timing is right.
And we've got some in Orlando that I think that we can connect you with. And, I want to send you Every Man's Bible. I think that'll be encouraging in this process as well. So many times we have experienced things that we just keep secret, but they come back alive at some point, or they just fester. and we really need deep healing for deep wounds. And there is help available, and we can help you get there. We'll be right back.
My husband's been addicted to porn since he was 10 years old.
I found out about 9 months into my marriage that he has a porn addiction.
My name is Shelly Martinkus, and I want to personally invite you to the Restore Workshop. If you have been affected by betrayal, it might be that your husband has been looking at pornography, it might be an emotional, a physical affair. I would love for you to come join us.
Restore has empowered me and has given me the tools to work through my anger, work through my pain, work through my confusion, and help me realize that I am worthy.
Being here and being surrounded by people who get it has given me my power back.
Please don't hesitate. Pick up the phone, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. I would love to see you there.
The Restore Workshop is coming to Washington, D.C., November 12th through the 14th. To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go online to newlife.com.
Thank you, Restore. You have changed my life forever.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I did go to Take Your Life Back. That's why I continue to support the ministry with the hope that not only am I helping my own situation, that I'm helping others as well.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the New Life member thank you gift of the New Life Journal, 100 Days of Peace, 7 Ways to Choose Healing, Growth Has No Boundaries, a Restoration Bible, and a New Life grocery tote to hold it all. Plus, there are ongoing benefits, like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live. This is Terry McIntosh. I wanted to let you know about 2 special offers that are only available in the month of November. The first is a free download of 5 irrefutable truths that can transform your life. When you embrace these truths, you can expect that things will change. Just visit newlife.com and click on the banner to get your free download. Also, we have free shipping and special pricing on several products. We're making it easy for you to treat yourself or maybe take care of some holiday shopping. Visit newlife.com and click the banner for more details. Now back to New Life Live.
Thank you, Terry Mack, and that's a great offer, and it helps the ministry do what we do best, which is resource people, help people in the hardest places that they are in. Just like we talked to Tom just now, that's a really hard call to make, but he did the right thing by reaching out for help. And you know, we hear so many times about from our Club New Life members, our other donors who we're so grateful for helping us do what we do. I talked to a Club New Life member the other day who said that she had listened to the program for such a long time, had had so much help, and it dawned on her one day, you know, I should be supporting this ministry. You know, I'm getting so much out of it. And over again, I hear from folks that say, I wish I could give more. But let me tell you, every little bit helps. We will take the more, but we also are so grateful for those consistent gifts through Club New Life. And if you'd like to join, you can, we have a welcome gift that you can get, but just contact us today or go to newlife.com and click that donate button. It will make a difference in the lives of so many people. Now we're going to go back to the phones, and we are going to speak with Hilda. Hi, Hilda. Hilda's calling us from Washington, D.C., listens on our app, and you can also listen on our app. You can download it for free. Hi, Hilda. How can we help you today?
Oh, hi. Thank you for taking my call.
Of course.
Well, my question is, what kind of counselor or what kind of help do I need? It's been 8 years since my son was hit by a car, and he has a traumatic brain injury. He's independent. He went back to school. He got his master's. Physically, he's 95%. Okay. But his brain is no not there completely. And sometimes he doesn't live with us, but when I see him, I have I guess my daughter tells me that I'm codependent.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing okay, and I'm okay. But when he makes those comments, or I see things that makes me sad, like a couple of weeks ago, we met. He feels lonely, very difficult for him socially to maintain. The first impression is fine, but then to maintain friends or relation is difficult. And he was like making a comment that sometimes he wishes that he didn't have to go through all this. I still go.
Hilda, let me jump in. Hilda, Hilda, what are you afraid of?
Yeah.
When it comes to your son, what is your primary fear?
For him to suffer, to not be able to do things. He has the tendency of drinking.
Mm-hmm.
He needs some nicotine or vapor.
Yeah, so he's found some.
Maybe
He's found some medicators that could potentially be addictive in his life, and that's a scary thing.
Yes.
Okay. But you said how long ago was the accident where he had the traumatic brain injury?
8
years.
8 years ago? Okay.
8 years.
So in the last 8 years, he's been able to move out. He's been able to get a master's degree.
Yes.
Okay. Now, there's some struggles along the way. You said he's 95%. I don't mean to make light of this, but, man, I would like 95% of my brain working some days. And so...
you know what? I'm wondering. I thought
90% of his physical.
Okay, right. Physical. Yeah.
I want to...
No limping or...
Right, but I want to ask, along with what you're saying, Chris, I want to ask you, Hilda, are you feeling the same fear that you had when you found out about the accident? When you see him struggle? Because I imagine you probably have some post-traumatic stress disorder from that. You say no, but then, like Chris just said, he's able to move out. He's got a master's degree. He's making choices. I'm just...
Hilda, when you feel sorry for him and sad for him, what's your belief about yourself, and then what happens in your behavior?
Well, my behavior is I cry, and I get down. I get really depressed.
And what's your
Even
self?
though I know he's doing good.
What is your self-accusation of what kind of mom you are because your son is suffering?
What kind of mom is he suffering?
There's probably
a loving mom. I want to be. I don't want him to suffer. I would like to.
And you feel responsible for his suffering. Why? Help us understand that.
No, I don't know. That's not my question. My daughter tells me she took care of him for 2 years after the accident. My son didn't want me close because he said I was going to baby him, and he went against all the doctor's advice, and he left home.
Okay, so...
And that daughter tells me that... Yeah, go ahead.
So, Hilda, he's right.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because he's correct. Because when we are trying to prevent our kids from suffering, now don't get me wrong, there is this proper way of protecting them and guiding them, but as they get older, pain is our entrance fee into planet Earth, right? Suffering is just a part of what we're going to experience in life. And when we suffer, now it's very scary because we can go a negative direction with our suffering. But also, I mean, this is really clear in Scripture, is that suffering also can refine us and grow us up and build resiliency and build character. I mean, James is telling us, consider it pure joy when you face trials of many kinds. Paul earlier talks about suffering that builds into character, even hope. And so one of the things is that we each have to go on that journey. And if we try to rescue the people around us from all of their suffering, it's like we then prevent their growth. We stunt their growth.
And you experience some rejection from your son when you try to help him too much and more than he wants. So the treatment for codependency is getting into individual therapy, and it's getting into a CODA group or an Al-Anon group where we can talk about our feelings, and those around us help us to identify the behaviors that ensue because of the feelings, because usually there's some unhealthy behavior that we engage in when we're overwhelmed with sorrow for someone else's suffering. Maybe you withdraw, maybe you shut down, maybe you go into overprotecting and overhelping mode, but it's causing some harm and distance in your relationship with your son, and it does the opposite of what your heart wants to do for him.
You know, I actually talk about...
He is... Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, Hilda, I talk a lot about this actually in the Emotional Freedom Workshop. It's that what makes us us is our thoughts, our feelings, our opinions, our beliefs, our story, and our experiences. Now, in codependency, what happens is our thoughts and our feelings, our opinions, and our beliefs get hijacked by somebody else's experience, right? So the state of me is determined on the state of somebody else, meaning this. So if I'm in your situation, if my son is doing good, I'm doing good. If my son is doing bad, I'm doing bad. I'm no longer in control of myself, right? That's codependency. Okay?
Yes.
So I want to make sure that that's clear so that...
And I don't want to... Yes. Yes, I know that, and that's why... Well, I respect that. He's in Oregon. He's far away, and I respect... I wait until he calls, and I try all that. And we don't get really... He's been proving himself also that he can do it.
Well,
One of
listen...
I'm afraid is...
Go ahead.
You're
Finish
afraid?
that thought.
Oh, I'm afraid is like when he has those suicidal thoughts and the addictions. Those are my...
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
So you want to be honest with him about those and guide him too. Say you'll support him in his recovery. But first we want you to get into your recovery.
Yeah, we have an Emotional Freedom online workshop coming up January 22nd. You were just talking about that, Chris, and Hilda will give you some information. We're going to send you Take Your Life Back as well. And yeah, it's complex. But if you do your work, you'll be able to have more insight and be able to connect with him better in his own recovery. And I think that's what you really want. We'll be right back.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit its addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again. You seem to be able to get to the crux of a problem quickly.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for you and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly, and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-639-5433.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back. You know, one of the things I'm excited about right now is we are beginning to launch a New Life coaching network. We have discovered, you know, life coaching is a new field. It's not very new. It's been around for at least a decade or so. It's different than counseling, but we are putting together life coaches who are certified across the country who will be able to offer that forward motion in helping you. So if you are a life coach or if you know someone and would like to be part of that network, get in contact with us today. You can call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE, or you can click on the banner at newlife.com. We are going to go to Chris, calling us from Jacksonville, Florida, listens on WEGS. Hello, Chris. How can we help you? Chris, do you want to talk to us today? Well, I guess not.
Oh, no.
Twice?
Darn it. Call back again, Chris.
Call back. Yeah, well, we're going to talk to Paul instead. Hi, Paul. You're calling from New York and listens on WBAR. How can we help you today, Paul?
Oh, hi. Yeah, I was married for 17 years. Back in April, my wife left me. I don't know where she is. I'm changing my life. I want her to come back so we can have a good family, Christian family marriage, and kind of losing hope.
Paul, why did she leave you?
I was drinking too much, smoking too much, you know, not the kind of man or Christian who wants to be with, I guess. Not her fault, mine, and I admit it.
What have
I
you?
ask God to forgive me.
What have you done about your drinking and your smoking?
I quit drinking about a week ago, and I'm working on the smoking.
How'd you quit drinking?
Just stop.
How long had you been struggling? How long had you been struggling with it?
I would say most of my adult life, 17.
Okay. Yeah.
How's that going for you, Paul?
Not bad at all. I don't even want a beer. I wasn't a hardcore, whiskey. I drank beer,
Okay.
But it just got to be too much. She didn't like it, and I didn't pay attention, I guess.
Paul, it is
I miss her.
it is fabulous that you quit drinking, and we are immensely proud of you. And you know it will take more than that, but you absolutely need your sobriety in order to heal more. So in addition to quitting, what else are you doing to become to grow up into the man God created you to be?
Well, I'm in the Word more. I've been going to church every Sunday.
And what about the AA meetings?
No. I have no vehicle.
Okay. So what about community?
There's nothing really around here.
Okay, so Paul, if you're going to... Sorry, go ahead.
I had a massive stroke when I was 38.
Oh, gosh.
I'm in severe pain every day. I don't know, man. It's devastating. I want her back.
And so Paul, you have to become prepared to do whatever it takes and to not let these obstacles that you're identifying hold you back from getting into structured professional help. And that may be starting phone counseling with a therapist. It may be finding an online group to attend. It may be getting a buddy to come in and drive you to a meeting. But it will take a lot of action to show your wife that you will do whatever it takes.
Well, and Paul, how are you? Paul, you said you were going to church. How are you getting to church?
It's like it's only like 1,500 feet down from my house. I usually ride my tractor down.
Okay, that's awesome. Okay, well, that shows that where there's a will, there's a way. You'll get there. And, it may be that you ask the pastor if there are other people that can meet as a group, or, do what you can where you are. Now, you were going to add something to that. What were you going to say?
The other problem is I don't know where she is, and she won't respond to any of my calls or texts.
So that means
I called her pastor. I called her pastor and left a message with him to please tell her that I love her and I'm working on things to get better. Would you please call me?
Paul, your alcohol use probably did a lot of damage to the relationship.
Oh, I know that.
Yeah, good. I'm glad you know it. I'm glad you know it. And so your wife, she's not willing to have contact with you for now, and that must break your heart and probably lead you to feeling somewhat hopeless or powerless. So now is the time, Paul, to focus all your energy into cleaning up yourself and your side of the street. And there's no guarantee that your wife will talk with you again, but there is a guarantee that you will grow and mature as you do the work on yourself, so that if she ever does reopen the line of communication with you, or hear from the people that are living life with you and seeing that Paul is becoming a new man, then there's a chance.
Well, and I agree totally with that, Allison. The fact that, Paul, your work right now is to get well, whatever that means for you. Your goal isn't just to get your wife back. Yes, that would be great, but there's going to be a whole other thing that's going to have to take place once she says, okay, I'll come back and talk to you. When a spouse leaves without word, it is because they are overwhelmed with the repeated request to get things straight and how can we make this better. And it's just, it's frustrating. And so it's like the ultimate slamming the door. But your goal can't be, I'm going to get better for her to come back. It's got to be, I'm going to get better because God calls me to get better. He's calling me to a better life. Right. And you're going to feel better. It's just going to make a huge difference. And we say all the time, it's behavior speaks louder than words.
Mm-hmm. And Paul, you get caught up in excuses. Do you know that about yourself?
Right.
Yes, you do. Now, your
yeah.
Okay, your excuses have held you back from doing this work already. Yeah. And I hear it in your conversation with us. And so I want you to confess to anybody that's safe enough, pastor, some of the men at your church, that you are stuck in excuses. And it's by that confession that you'll receive the grace, the help, and the assistance from God and from those men to move beyond your excuses.
I take full responsibility for my mess up.
That's awesome. That's the first step. That's awesome. Well, Paul,
the anger stuff.
So Paul, the invitation is to invite you into a healing and growth process. And so as you're taking full responsibility for your mess up, I want you to take full responsibility for your recovery. Mm-hmm. And so again, there's online AA meetings 24/7 around the clock. Mm-hmm. Reach out to the people around you. Do what you've done with us. You've a great beginning. You reached out to us. Keep reaching out to the people in your community, in your church, the people around you. Talk about what's going on. And like Becky was telling you, you're not in control of whether your wife is going to come back or not. And that's got to be heart-wrenching and scary. But you are in control of getting better. And that's what we're encouraging you with and inviting you into today.
Absolutely. We're going to send you a copy of the Life Recovery Bible, and you can begin your work right there doing those devotionals. Thank you all for calling today. Thank you, Alice. Thank you, Chris. And I hope if you've heard something today that blessed you, you could pass that on to somebody else. Share the news of new life. You may make a difference in the life of somebody that you love. We'll be back next time. God bless you.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you. but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Hi, thank you for watching New Life Live. You know, New Life Live is a Christian counseling program where we deal with the hard questions about life, relationships, kids, free choice, freedom of will, whatever. It's all right there on New Life Live every day, every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. If you want to call into the live broadcast, you can find the schedule on newlife.com or click the social media link right below. You can see every episode of New Life Live on the New Life YouTube channel. Watch it with a friend, watch it later. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you'll never miss another episode. So if you want to listen on the go, download the app. The link is right below. And I hope if you need some information, if you want to get some help, you'll call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And I'll see you next time.